So today we will talk about Krebs cycle. Before going to Krebs cycle, I want to remind you one thing, a very important thing. What is rate limiting step? Just anyone tell me what is rate limiting step? What are the properties of rate limiting step? Do you know that? Anyone? See, the properties of rate limiting steps. What are the properties of rate limiting step? Can anyone tell me?
They are usually allosteric enzymes.
Yeah, regulated by allosteric enzyme. Good, very good. Allosteric enzymes. Rate limiting enzymes are allosteric enzymes. And then these steps are irreversible step, slowest step. These steps are slowest step. These steps are irreversible step. And these at this stage there will be release of energy. Okay, there will be release of energy. And that is these reactions are exergonic reaction. Exergonic reaction, irreversible reaction, and slowest reaction. So these are the features of rate limiting steps. Just remember that. Whenever I tell you rate limiting step, just remember these are the features: slowest, irreversible, and exergonic. So today we will be talking about Krebs cycle. So in Krebs cycle, if you see the Krebs cycle starts after acetyl coenzyme. So it is basically burning of acetyl coenzyme. Acetyl coenzyme will convert into carbon dioxide, 2 carbon dioxide and ADH, two NADH, 2 carbon dioxide, 2 carbon NADH plus 1 FADH2. Remember this. So this is the result of Krebs cycle, and plus 1 ATP also in the form of GTP. So we have seen 2 CO2, 2 NADH, 1 FADH, and 1 ATP. So this is the result of Krebs cycle. So it's easy to understand. Now we have seen acetyl coenzyme, but till now we have studied up to pyruvate from glucose, oxidation of pyruvate from glucose. So it is done through glycolysis. You already know it is done through glycolysis. Now this pyruvate will convert into acetyl coenzyme, and this is a bridge reaction. This is a bridge reaction. Bridge reaction that happens between glycolysis and Krebs cycle. There is a bridge reaction between glycolysis and Krebs cycle. This is catalyzed by enzyme complex called pyruvate dehydrogenase complex, PDH complex. So we will today first study about this PDH complex. Okay, we will study first about PDH complex. Then we will talk about pyruvate dehydrogenase. Did you understand this?
Yes, sir.
Bridge reaction?
Yes, sir.
No, sir. Go over again, please.
Anyone?
The PDH complex, is that the bridge reaction?
Yeah, bridge reaction. Now I'll tell you here. See, so what happens? So first, pyruvate. So glucose. We are talking about. We in this whole module will talk about glucose oxidation only. So glucose will oxidize to pyruvate. Okay, pyruvate. Now pyruvate. So, and you know the Krebs cycle is oxidation of acetyl coenzyme A into carbon dioxide and ADH FADH2 plus ATP. So this is Krebs cycle. Okay, so now you have seen the conversion of this is glycolysis. This is Krebs cycle. So there is pyruvate is not converting into in place of pyruvate, acetyl coenzyme. You see acetyl coenzyme is being converted into carbon dioxide. So there is a bridge reaction that actually joins this glycolysis and Krebs cycle. This bridge reaction is conversion of pyruvate into acetyl coenzyme. And here you will see release of 1 carbon dioxide and 1 NADH. And this is catalyzed by reaction called pyruvate dehydrogenase complex. And this is a bridge reaction. This is bridge reaction between glycolysis and Krebs cycle. Did you understand now?
Yes.
What is this? Is bridge reaction. This is a bridge reaction. That bridge glycolysis with Krebs cycle. Did you all understand this?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So let's first discuss the fate of pyruvate. So you already know what is one fate of pyruvate. Where do you get pyruvate from? We get pyruvate from glucose. You already know this. We get pyruvate from glucose. In which condition? Fate condition, well-fed condition. In liver. In well-fed condition in liver, because we are talking about liver only, so that we will not get confused. Now see, so what glucose, you can see glucose, we will get pyruvate. Now in addition to glucose, we also get pyruvate from some other places. I have told you this pyruvate is this molecule. This is pyruvate, a keto acid. Pyruvate is a keto acid, and very similar to pyruvate is alanine. If you can remember, alanine is very similar to this. Only difference is here keto group, here amine group, and this is alanine. So alanine is very equivalent to it. Alanine is actually, this is amino acid of pyruvate as keto acid. Alanine is amino acid of pyruvate. So this pyruvate and alanine from pyruvate can be our body obtained from alanine. Our body can obtain pyruvate from alanine through removal of amine group. Did you get this?
Yes, sir.
Now, and then that pyruvate can also convert into alanine, and this is done by alanine transaminase. You have already studied about this alanine transaminase. This requires vitamin B6 transaminase. All transaminase require vitamin B6. So this is a vitamin B6 requiring step. It converts to and fro into alanine and pyruvate. If pyruvate concentration is less and alanine is more, alanine will convert into pyruvate. And if pyruvate concentration is more, then pyruvate can convert into alanine. So it is based on the substrate concentration. If this is high, so it will flow like this. If it is high, it will flow like this. So reversible reaction always goes according to concentration gradient. Now lactic, with lactate also it happens the same. So lactate and pyruvate can convert into each other. So we get pyruvate also from lactate, we get pyruvate also from alanine in addition to glucose. And this is a very important enzyme. We also get pyruvate from malate after removal of carbon dioxide. This is called malate malic enzyme. A very important enzyme, malic enzyme. Just remember for the time being, malic enzyme convert malate into pyruvate. So our source of pyruvate is this fourfold. One is lactic acid, alanine, glucose, and malate. So this is the predominant source. These are the minor sources, but you have to remember these sources. Now after pyruvate, we get pyruvate. Pyruvate will convert into something else. So these are the fate of pyruvate. This is very important. I already told you this pyruvate will convert into acetyl coenzyme by pyruvate dehydrogenase complex. This is also second reaction I actually have discussed in the enzyme also, because you know pyruvate carboxylase. Do you remember pyruvate carboxylase? Just tell me, anyone? Pyruvate carboxylase, do you remember?
Yes, sir.
So pyruvate carboxylase, what does it do? It is a pyruvate, any carboxylase is a biotin containing enzyme. Do you remember this? Biotin, any carboxylase is a biotin containing enzyme. It carboxylate using carbon dioxide. So what does it do is it adds carbon dioxide at this position, at this carbon. So this molecule will convert into this CH2, and then what else? This carbon dioxide here will be added as COOH. So this is oxaloacetate. Oxaloacetate. So pyruvate to oxalo. So pyruvate can convert into oxaloacetate, and pyruvate also convert into acetyl coenzyme. This is based on need. So we will talk about this reaction also after we talk about Krebs cycle. This reaction is also very important because Krebs cycle require both. Krebs cycle require oxaloacetate and Krebs cycle also require acetyl coenzyme A. Acetyl coenzyme A will completely burn into carbon dioxide, and then you already know NADH, FADH, FADH2 plus ATP. But oxaloacetate will be recycled. Oxaloacetate will be recycled, but oxaloacetate is required for Krebs cycle. That is why production of oxaloacetate is necessary. So pyruvate will convert into oxaloacetate also. Pyruvate will convert into acetyl coenzyme also. Did you understand this very important concept? Source and fate of pyruvate?
Yes,
Yeah.
sir.
Okay, this is important. If you understand the source of, so let's see this reaction. Simple reaction, one step reaction, conversion of pyruvate into acetyl coenzyme. This, let's talk about this enzyme. Can you see this enzyme? A very beautiful enzyme. Can you see this enzyme? Can
Yeah.
you
Yes, sir.
perceive this enzyme as beautiful enzyme? So I want you to conceptualize, actually put this enzyme into imagination, considering like a sun. Can you conceive it like a sun?
Yes, sir.
Okay, sun. So it is a very big enzyme. That is why I am talking about the enzyme structure also. So you don't have to go into detail of the enzyme structure. Just remember, this is enzyme. So this is a very important enzyme, and you can. This is the only enzyme you can see under microscope, electron microscope. So these are the electron microscope structure protein. So this is big complex. So this complex is made up of three enzymes. You can see blue region here, and then sometimes a sort of like reddish and then yellowish. So this is made up of many three enzyme complex together, and this is whole is PDH complex. PDH complex. This is the description of enzyme. So enzyme, this is the description of enzyme. And there are two more enzymes in our body. They are very similar in structure like this. These enzymes are alpha ketoglutarate dehydrogenase. It is enzyme of Krebs cycle. Krebs cycle. This is very important for USMLE also. This all concepts are very important. And second enzyme is branch chain keto acid dehydrogenase. So three enzymes have similar structure. This is part of Krebs cycle, and this branch chain keto acid dehydrogenase is part of branch chain keto acid, branch chain amino acid metabolism. So we will talk about this metabolism in MD2. So branch chain amino acid metabolism utilize this enzyme. So there are three enzymes that have similar. There are two more enzymes that have similar structure to PDH, and total three enzymes will have very similar structure. Now let's talk, when we talk about the structure of this enzyme, that means we will also talk about these two enzymes. You have to understand these two enzymes together. So let's see this. So see this enzyme. So this is not pyruvate dehydrogenase. You can see this pyruvate dehydrogenase here. So this, can you see this is pyruvate? So pyruvate has O group, and then this is oxo group. This is carboxy group and CO group, and this. So this is pyruvate. Now what happens with this pyruvate? Pyruvate is taken by this. This is a three enzyme complex. One enzyme is pyruvate dehydrogenase. E1 is pyruvate dehydrogenase, and E2 is, this name is given to ET, dihydrolipoyl transacylase. This is E2. Just remember E1, E2, and then E3. This is also dehydrogenase. So E1, E2 both are dehydrogenase. This is a transferase type of a complete complex. We call it a dehydrogenase. We place in group number 1 in oxidoreductase. Whole complex, because whole complex function as a unit. Now this E1 has a B1. Okay, E1 has B1, vitamin B1. Do you know what is the other name of vitamin B1? Thiamine. So E1 has B1, and B1 is a very, it is like knife. B1 is like what? Knife. Do you understand this? B1 is like knife.
Knife.
So it cuts this bond here. It cuts this bond and release carbon dioxide, this carbon dioxide. So understand, this is TPP, thiamine pyrophosphate. This thiamine vitamin B1 is present in any enzyme in form of thiamine pyrophosphate. So this is thiamine pyrophosphate. Thiamine pyrophosphate is like a knife. It will cut this bond, and after cutting this bond, what is left is this part. Now this part you can see is being transferred here to other E2 complex, and this is called acetyl. This is called acetyl part. So acetyl part will be transferred here, and now carbon dioxide is released. After acetyl being transferred, what will happen? This acetyl will, from this acetyl group, a proton will be extracted by E3, and ultimately conversion of what will happen? NADH. And E1 from E2, this acetyl group will be transferred to coenzyme A. So function of E1 is to chop this bond, removal of carbon dioxide. Function of this E3 is to extract hydrogen in the form of NADH. This is the function of E3. This is the function of E1. Function of E2 is to transfer this acetyl group to coenzyme. Did you understand this? Tell me.
Can you repeat E2 again?
Now, let's see this. So you have seen this pyruvate here. This is pyruvate. This is pyruvate. The function of this E1 is what? To cut this bond, to chop this bond, and it will release CO2. So E1, function of E1 is this. Did you understand this?
Yeah.
Tell me. Now, function of E3, if you can see here, E3 is extraction of hydrogen or reducing equivalent in the form of NADH. So did you understand here? Can you see this?
Yeah.
This is E3. Function of E2 is, you can see this function of E2 is transfer of this acetyl to coenzyme A. So formation of acetyl coenzyme A means transfer of acetyl group to this coenzyme A. This is E2. Did you understand this?
Yes.
So this is these three enzymes cooperate together to do this whole function that I told you. So you can see this enzyme has vitamin B1 here, vitamin B2 here in enzyme complex 3, B2 as flavin, vitamin B2 here. Also B2 and B3 will work together. Here B3. You can see here B5. Can you see pantothenic as B5? Now here lipoic. One is lipoic acid. This is lipoic acid. This is called lipoic acid. So now that is why this enzyme, if you can see, this enzyme has 5 different vitamin and vitamin-like compound: B1, B2, B3, B4, and B5. Remember lipoic as B4, though B4 is not for light, but remember B4 is for lipoic in order to memorize things. So you will get mnemonics B1, B2, B3, B4, and B5. So these 5 things is contained by one enzyme. Did you understand this?
Yeah.
So this is very important. This 5 vitamin is contained by this enzyme. And what is the role of vitamin B1?
To cut?
Cutting this bond, removal of carbon dioxide, chopping. Vitamin B1 is like knife, I told you. And this is TPP. You can see positive charge here. So this positive charge will attack here, okay? And that will make this electron deficient and cut this bond. So this is the mechanism. You don't have to go into detail. Just I told you to have a concept. Because of this positive charge, so it will attack here and it will break this bond. So this is the chopping effect. That vitamin B1 has chopping effect. Anyway, we will talk about vitamin B1 also other places at one more place. But remember vitamin B1 here. So did you understand this?
Yeah.
Now I will tell you this. Remember, put this enzyme into imagination. Okay, this enzyme does inspiration of pyruvate, and you know after inspiration of pyruvate and oxygen, what do we release? We release carbon dioxide. But this enzyme expire what? Carbon dioxide and NADH. Inspire, take this pyruvate into this enzyme and then release carbon dioxide and NADH. NADH as product and carbon dioxide and NADH as product. Will you put this into your imagination like that?
Yes, sir.
So now I told you this is a branch chain keto acid, very similar enzyme structure you can see. We will study about this enzyme during amino acid catabolism. So can you see the similar structure here? For this lipoic acid, same thing. But only difference is that there is a branch chain keto acid here. You can see a branching. So you don't have to go into detail about this. We will talk about the detail. First, understand this branch chain keto acid. Here also it will release oxygen. Here also expiration is what? NADH and CO2. You will find here also. And remember this enzyme. And when this enzyme is deficient, there is a very important disorder. This is called maple syrup urine disease. This is a very important high yield fact. So branch chain keto acid is very similar to pyruvate dehydrogenase. Deficiency of this enzyme will cause which disorder?
Maple syrup disease.
Yeah, maple syrup urine disease. Maple syrup. So syrup, very sweety type of urine will be very like burnt sugar. It will smell like burnt sugar. So this is why this is called maple syrup urine disease. You will study about this disease in a very detail in MD2. Just remember, this is a very important point. That is why I have mentioned here. So maple syrup urine disease, high yield. This is a high yield. I can ask this only. So deficiency of this cause which disorder? I can ask this much, not more than that. So remember the enzyme name and structural similarity. Now this is the pyruvate dehydrogenase complex. I told you to remember like this is remember like sun. So this is the structure, nuclear magnetic resonance structure that is taken from a system NMR structure. That the same principle you use to do MRI. You can call it a MRI picture of molecule. So this PDS looks like this, very similar to structure of sun. So you can see from this. So E1 is about 22 proteins are E1 is there. E2 is about 60 protein inside this, and E3 is 6 proteins. So this is a complex of 22, 60 plus is to 6 complex. So this is a big complex. That is why you can see it through electron microscope. Diameter is about a very huge diameter, 400 nanometer diameter is there. So that is, I just wanted to give you a very concept through this. How does enzyme look like? So this is a highly efficient metabolic machine. Remember this. Very immediately, very fast way it converts this pyruvate into acetyl coenzyme. So conversion of pyruvate and acetyl coenzyme A is a oxidative decay. This is pyruvate. This is pyruvate. This is pyruvate. Now pyruvate will lose this carbon dioxide and it will convert into, this will lose carbon dioxide and it will also lose here NADH. NAD will be NAD plus. So NADH will be produced here. And carbon dioxide will be lost. So that is why this is oxidation. This is oxidation. And this is decarboxylation. And that is why this is called oxidative decarboxylation. And resulted product is what? CO, CH3. Can you see this? 2. And then HCO means acetyl coenzyme A. This is representation of coenzyme A. SCO means coenzyme A. So this coenzyme A has sulfur group and it binds acetyl with sulfur group. And this is a high energy bond. This is a high energy bond. Always bond between coenzyme A or any other molecule is a high energy bond. So we will require this in order to understand the concept. So this is coenzyme A. So this is a oxidative decarboxylation reaction, and this is a regulatory step. This bridge reaction is a regulatory step. What does regulatory step means? Slowest reaction, release of energy, and irreversible reaction. So this is an irreversible reaction, and this can be regulated. It is an allostatic enzyme. That is why it can be regulated. Did you understand the whole concept
Yes, sir.
of reaction? Now we will talk about regulation now. Okay, you have already understand in detail about this enzyme. This enzyme is very lovely type of enzyme. You have already seen very lovely enzyme, very beautiful enzyme. So very beautiful type of enzyme. So you must not forget about PDH and PDH like enzymes. There are 2 PDH like enzymes. You must not forget. These are all important enzymes. As sun is important for us, the same way this enzyme is important for biochemistry. And deficiency of this enzyme is also there. If deficiency is there, what will happen? It will cause what? Lactic acidosis. Do you remember that? Or forgot?
I remember.
Okay. Deficiency of this enzyme will cause lactic acidosis and neurological problem. Just remember. So this is also important concept. Everything about PDH is very important. Now we have already told you this pyruvate. This is pyruvate. Pyruvate. You can see the pyruvate coenzyme A is coming here. So pyruvate is converted into acetyl coenzyme A. Really, what is released is carbon dioxide. What is formed is NADH. Now these two are product here. So product will inhibit the reaction. This is which type of reaction? What type of reaction is this?
Feedback.
Feedback. Inhibition.
Yeah, feedback inhibition. This is a feedback inhibition. So you have already understood this two molecules here. This 2 molecule here, acetyl coenzyme A and NADH. They are what? Inhibitors. These 2 molecules, acetyl coenzyme A and inhibitor. Let me write here: acetyl coenzyme A and NADH. These 2 molecules are inhibitors here. And then after that, which molecule will form from this NADH and also from acetyl coenzyme A? ATP will be formed, isn't it? Won't there be formation of ATP from this compound?
Yes, sir.
So ATP is also a product, though it is a distinct product, but ATP is also a product. So this all product will inhibit, this all product A and A. So acetyl coenzyme A, NADH and ATP, all these 3 products will inhibit the reaction. These 2 products will inhibit through feedback inhibition, but ATP inhibit in a different manner. So did you understand feedback inhibition by these 2 first?
Yes, sir.
It is easy. It is easy. Now, pyruvate dehydrogenase is active in which condition? Fed condition or fasting condition?
Fed.
Yes, because glucose oxidation happens during fed condition in liver, because we are talking about liver. So in fed condition, PDH will be in active condition. So if active PDH is active in which condition? Dephosphorylated or phosphorylated condition? If it is in fed condition,
Dephosphorylated.
dephosphorylated. Any enzyme active in fed condition is active in dephosphorylated condition. Now suppose we did not have food for, we did not get in this lockdown period, we did not get food for 24 hours. So what will happen to this PDH? Glucagon is equal to high CAMP. So what will happen? This CAMP will cause phosphorylation. Did you get this?
Yes, sir.
In fasting condition, it will be phosphorylated. So now, because we are getting food, so it is not, it is dephosphorylated, it is active. It is, the enzyme is capable of metabolism, catabolism glucose, capable enough to oxidize glucose. But what will happen during fasting condition? There will be phosphorylation. And this phosphorylation will be done by some kinase. Which kinase? The kinase name come from PDH, pyruvate dehydrogenase kinase. So it will phosphorylate, and this will be an inactive enzyme. This will be an inactive enzyme. And then, so suddenly we will get food. Okay, I get food after, imagine after 24 hours, I get food. So what will happen? Then again, so because of this, what will happen? Insulin will become high in blood. So this insulin will cause low CAMP type inside cell. And this low CAMP will cause what? Dephosphorylation. How? Through protein phosphatase, pyruvate dehydrogenase phosphatase, PDH phosphatase. This is a phosphatase. This will release phosphate group. Did you get this?
Yes, sir.
So insulin will cause dephosphorylation. And now when we get food, so this will again be active during fed condition. So this is the mechanism. Now these enzymes are activated by this enzyme. Pyruvate dehydrogenase is activated by this also. I'll write with different ink. With, and then with this also. NADH, and also by ATP. So this all will increase in blood during fasting condition because of fat metabolism. So acetyl coenzyme NADH and ATP will help this to convert, will activate this PDH kinase to convert PDH into PDH phosphorylated, inactive PDH. Now here this PDH phosphatase, this enzyme. This PDH with PDH phosphatase, two things will help PDH phosphatase, are the friend of PDH phosphatase. One is calcium, other is pyruvate. Did you understand this? Did you understand this?
That again.
Did you understand this at least upper part?
Can you
Yes.
repeat that again?
You all, did you know this PDH is converting to PDH phosphorylated form in fasting
Yes.
condition? Understand up to this? And in fasting condition, these three molecules actually will stimulate this PDH kinase to convert this PDH into PDH first. Because see, when you are in fasting condition, what will happen? There is cellular environment, there will be fatty acid breakdown. So there will be very high amount of acetyl coenzyme because of fatty acid. And because of fatty acid, there will be high amount of ATP also. So this acetyl coenzyme ATP, and there will be NADH will also be very, very high. So this all three components will convert this PDH into PDH. Did you understand now? It has to stimulate this enzyme. Just remember, these are friends. This is enzyme, these are friends of this enzyme. Remember that way. Categorize this. If you try to remember everything logically in the beginning, it will be difficult. Just remember, these are helper of this enzyme. Because here also these are inhibitor. Now here also, by helping this enzyme, it is functioning as role of inhibitor. Then this is also inhibitor. Can you see acetyl coenzyme inhibiting this PDH here? NADH here also it is playing the role of inhibitor. One ATP is added. Did you get that?
Yes.
So here it is helping the role, playing the role of inhibitor by helping this enzyme, pyruvate dehydrogenase kinase. Now this here the phosphatase, this two calcium and pyruvate is helping phosphatase. In that way, it is activating enzyme. This calcium and pyruvate are activating enzyme by helping phosphatase. Calcium and see why calcium? Because when you start doing exercise, what will happen inside your muscle? Inside your muscle, calcium become very high inside your muscle, and if calcium become very high, it will cause contraction, muscle contraction, and you know contraction also require energy. So for energy, there has to be production of energy also, because exercising muscle require glucose, and that is why glucose has to be converted into something else to require energy, and that is why it will activate pyruvate to acetyl coenzyme. So that is why calcium is an activator of conversion of pyruvate to acetyl coenzyme. Did you get this? You can see calcium is activator of pyruvate dehydrogenase complex. Is activator of pyruvate dehydrogenase complex. Did you understand now? These are
Yes.
all inhibitors. These are all inhibitors. This is activator. Calcium is activator. Here pyruvate inhibits this enzyme. That is how pyruvate is activated here. Pyruvate will activate this conversion. So pyruvate and calcium. Remember pyruvate and calcium. Because pyruvate has to convert into acetyl coenzyme. That is why if pyruvate somehow has to activate, not inhibit. This is a principle. Because reactant always activate the reaction. So you can see these are the activator now. From this, this is the conclusion of whole explanation. Calcium and pyruvate are activator, and these are inhibitor. Three are inhibitor. This three plays inhibitor as feedback inhibition and also through phosphorylation dephosphorylation. Also by phosphorylating. One by feedback inhibition, this two, and this two also by phosphorylation. Now you understood?
Yes, sir.
So remember this two, if you remember at least, so you will remember the mechanism. So calcium and pyruvate, it is easy to understand because calcium, when you do exercise, you need energy, and calcium represent muscle contraction, and for muscle contraction you require energy. That is why calcium stimulates energy production by conversion of pyruvate to acetyl coenzyme. And why energy from glucose only? Because exercising muscle always utilize glucose. Remember this. So after this, so we have already done conversion of pyruvate to what? Pyruvate to what?
Acetyl coenzyme.
Acetyl coenzyme. Okay. Now what do we do? We will talk about the acetyl coenzyme. What is the fate of acetyl coenzyme? Okay. We'll talk about the fate of acetyl coenzyme. So acetyl coenzyme A, what is the fate of acetyl coenzyme? You already know one fate. It will join Krebs cycle, isn't it? It will join Krebs cycle. And convert into CO2, 2 NADH, 2 CO2, 2 NADH, 1 FADH2 plus 1 ATP. And this happens during fate condition. In fate condition. Okay, acetyl coenzyme A will join Krebs cycle during fate condition. Remember this, Krebs cycle during fate condition. And acetyl coenzyme A will also convert into through citrate. Intermediate will be citrate. Through citrate, so formation of citrate will be in Krebs cycle. Through citrate, again it will convert into acetyl coenzyme. Citrate will come out of the mitochondria. This citrate conversion will happen mitochondria. And from acetyl coenzyme, fatty acid synthesis will happen. So acetyl coenzyme A will convert into fatty acid. Also, this also happens during fate condition. Because when you eat food, glucose, then glucose will be converted into fat. Basically, fat is a future energy, storage form of energy. That is why excess carbohydrate will be converted into fat. And that obviously you can easily understand that should happen during fate condition. If you have excess, you have eaten excess, then only the excess food will convert into fat. So acetyl coenzyme A during fate condition also only it will convert into fat. So did you get this too?
Yes, sir.
Now this acetyl coenzyme A, our body require cholesterol also. It will convert into cholesterol. So in this, all three reaction happens during fate condition. Fate condition. In fate condition, acetyl coenzyme will convert into fatty acid. Acetyl coenzyme will convert into carbon dioxide and energy, and this in acetyl coenzyme also convert into cholesterol. So these three reaction happens during fate condition. Now let's talk about fasting condition. So in fasting condition, acetyl coenzyme does not join Krebs cycle in liver. Rather, acetyl coenzyme will convert into ketone body. So we'll talk about ketone body in detail. So ketone body will convert into ketone body. Okay? In fasting condition. In liver. Did you get this?
Yes, sir.
So in fate condition, three reaction, formation of acetyl coenzyme, this fatty acid synthesis will be there, formation of ATP will be there, and cholesterol synthesis. This three will happen during fate condition, and this will happen during fasting condition. So during fasting condition, what I mean to say during fasting condition, in fasting condition, in liver, acetyl coenzyme A does not join Krebs cycle. Then what is the purpose of Krebs cycle then? So because Krebs cycle occurs during fasting condition also, fate condition also. So purpose of Krebs cycle during prolonged fasting is gluconeogenesis. Remember, for the time being, I will explain this later. Gluconeogenesis, not oxidation of acetyl coenzyme A, not oxidation of acetyl coenzyme A. Did you understand this? What is the purpose of Krebs? Yes?
No, nothing, sir.
Yeah. Purpose of Krebs cycle during fate condition is what?
Oxidation of acetyl CoA.
Yeah, great. So I asked opposite question, but you answered this question. That means you are present with me. Now, during fasting condition, what is the purpose of Krebs cycle?
Gluconeogenesis.
Yeah, gluconeogenesis. Not a oxidation of acetyl coenzyme. Remember. So purpose of Krebs cycle changes according to context, according to either we are in fed condition or fasting condition. That is why this is called embryonic pathway, but purpose changes. So we will, if you understand this, you will understand Krebs cycle easily. Now this is, let's talk about the fate of this acetyl coenzyme A also. Where do we get acetyl coenzyme? You already know, we get acetyl coenzyme from mainly from pyruvate, also from fatty acid. So fatty acid, pyruvate, and from amino acid, ketogenic amino acid also. Amino acid, fat and carbohydrate, both sources, protein, fat and carbohydrate, from both, all three sources we can get acetyl coenzyme. So what is the actually acetyl fate of acetyl coenzyme? So fate of acetyl coenzyme are this. So very important fate is citric acid cycle in fed condition. In fed condition, it will produce energy in citric acid cycle. But during fasting, it also produces cholesterol during fed condition. It also produces fatty acid during fed condition. But fasting condition, it will produce ketone body. This fasting condition. This is fasting condition. It will produce ketone body. And you know, this is your MSK. So Dr. Dev must have said or will say this acetyl coenzyme in nerve terminal, it helps for formation of acetyl coenzyme, neurotransmitter. Have you been taught this?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So remember this also. So this is also a fate of acetyl coenzyme. Now, so this
Sorry,
is
sir,
the fate. Yes.
Is acetylcholine a fate in fed conditions or fasting conditions?
No, it is always. Acetylcholine is synthesized always. Okay? Always.
Okay, thank you.
Always. It is not subjected to fate. These are subjected to fate and fasting. Because this is not in liver. When we use the context liver, then you can easily classify fate and fasting condition easily. Okay?
Okay, thank you,
It
sir.
happens in nerve terminal. Okay. So that is a good question. Actually, you are with me. That means. So Krebs cycle. Now you already know. I don't have to. Other name is citric acid cycle, tricarboxylic acid cycle. Why? Because citric acid is formed, and citric acid is tricarboxylic acid. That is a tricarboxylic. So I don't have to explain I have already explained fasting and fed condition. So I don't have to explain this. Now function. So you already know. So I have many times I've told you. So what is the ultimate reaction? You can say this reaction. So 2 NADH. Sorry, I told only 2 NADH. I was telling. Sorry, there is 3 NADH. Forgive me for that. 1 FADH2. Okay, 3 NADH, and 1 FADH, 1 GTP. So forgive me for that. So 3 NADH, 2 CO2. So there will be total theoretical 10 ATP formation. 10 ATP per acetyl coenzyme. Okay, 10 ATP per acetyl coenzyme will be produced. So this is actually a type of summary reaction. We will talk about this later. Okay. So whenever you start any reaction, just ask these questions. So when does it happen? It happened during both fasting and fed condition. Why does it happen? It happens in fed condition. It happens for energy, and it is responsible for fatty acid synthesis. In fasting condition purposes, gluconeogenesis, I have already told you. It also helps other pathway. Other pathway are urea cycle and heme synthesis. It is also helpful for these 2 pathway. So this is why. What is the purpose of this Krebs cycle? So, and then where does it happen? It exclusively happens in matrix of mitochondria, all mitochondria. And we specifically talk about liver. So during fed condition, linked to glucose oxidation. During fasting condition, linked to protein catabolism. So why, when, where happened? So how this whole concept will talk about how does it happen. So what. So what are the enzymes? What are the coenzymes? What are the substrate and product? So this talk about this. What are the enzymes? What are the coenzyme, substrate, products? So what question? Coenzyme means vitamin and minerals. Enzymes means rate limiting enzymes. And reactant you already know, product you already know. So we will talk in detail about this. How many steps are there? So 8 steps are there. So in that 8 steps, 4 are dehydrogenase. So you easily understand. In 4 are dehydrogenase means you can easily understand 3 NADH and 1 FADH. That Fa1 FADH2. So that is why 4 dehydrogenase correspond to 3 NADH, 1 FADH2. So if you remember the 4 dehydrogenase, you will understand where NADH is produced, where FADH2 is produced. Now, so this is actually acetyl coenzyme. This is vitamin B5. I told you vitamin acetyl coenzyme is a very big part, big molecule. That is why this coenzyme cannot cross this mitochondrial membrane. And you can easily understand this citrate. So this is any cycle. From this picture, I want to tell you that the difference. I want to tell you a difference between cycle and pathway. Difference between cycle and pathway. Remember always, even I don't tell you, remember, cycle has both endergonic plus exergonic process. Endergonic means anabolic and catabolic process. Did you understand? Cycle means both. Cycle means both endergonic, anabolic and catabolic process together. Both will form one cycle. But here pathway will have either anabolic or catabolic. Did you get this?
Yes, sir.
Remember, this is very important difference between anabolism and catabolism. No book will tell, no YouTube video will tell you, no one will tell you. So remember, this is a very big difference. Now, so if you understand this difference, so anabolism and catabolism, now you will understand the thing better way. So see, can you see uphill reaction? This is a acetyl. This is what is this? Is oxaloacetate. I have drawn this oxaloacetate like this. So I sometimes write oxaloacetate like this. This is O, this is X, and this is acetate. So funny way of drawing oxaloacetate. This is O, this is X, this is acetate. Isn't it easy? Funny?
Yes, sir.
Do you love this? So this is how you can make your biochemistry also fun. So this is oxaloacetate, OX, and this is acetate. So oxaloacetate, when it combined with this acetyl coenzyme, this will form a citrate. Citrate is easy to understand, right? Also 2C, draw a 2C and put one COH here, one COOH here, one COOH here, one OH here. This is citrate, tricarboxylic, 1, 2, 3 carboxylic acid. So isn't it easy to draw a citrate?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Will you remember the structure of citrate?
Yes.
So it's easy. Now what will happen to this citrate? So this citrate, so this is one reaction. One citrate synthase is an anabolic reaction. And 7 reactions, 7 steps are catabolic steps. So energy comes from this high energy bond. This formation of bond is done by this high energy bond. But it is not a ligase. It is a transferase. So when direct ATP is not utilized, we don't call it ligase. High energy bond can be from this coenzyme A. We don't call it. We call it transferase. So there is formation of citrate. Now so citrate is actually, what is citrate? Citrate is actually nothing but burning of carbon. So remember, fire is burning this skeleton. So when it burns, what will happen? This carbon will break down and it will oxygen. This CO2 will release. One CO2 will release. And here also this carbon will burn. One carbon will burn, and this will also release CO2. So this will release CO2, and here COOH will form, and this here will be double bond will be formation. So burning will lead to this. Remember, like this. So it will burn when you place on the flame. It will burn like this. So oxalo, this citrate, you can see citrate converts into oxaloacetate. Again, oxaloacetate will bind with this coenzyme A. This acetyl again it converts into citrate, and citrate acetyl, citrate acetyl, citrate oxaloacetate, citrate oxaloacetate, citrate oxal. That is why this is called citrate cycle, tricarboxylic acid cycle. Did you get that?
Yes.
Sir.
Do you have a whole concept right now? A big concept, like broad concept. This picture is to supply you a broad concept. Did you have a broad concept right now?
Yes.
One step, 7 step. One step, 7 step. So all 4 in dehydrogenase come here only, because this is a catabolic step. This is anabolic step. All 4 dehydrogenase come here. Now see this reaction. This is pyruvate. This is pyruvate. If you can see this is a pyruvate. So pyruvate carboxylase replenish if this is consumed. Though it is recycled, but there will be consumption also. So there are some pathways that will cause consumption of this also. For example, it will be consumed for formation of hemoglobin. Here it will be consumed by urea cycle, as we have seen. So that is why there has to be a supply reaction. So this is a supply reaction. This is called anaplerotic reaction. A very different type of name is given to this reaction. This is called supply reaction. Supply term is given by the name anaplerotic. Did you remember this terminology, anaplerotic reaction? So this is the whole of Krebs cycle. Now let me talk about like steps of this Krebs cycle. So this is actually representation of what you see is like this whole process of conversion of glucose to carbon dioxide. I have compared with this. So see, from the fall, there will be this potential energy will be converting into kinetic energy, but kinetic energy can be tapped by the rotating turbine. It will convert into electrical energy. So the same way our body has the capacity to tap this energy, and this energy is tapped by electron transport chain. Electron transport chain is functioning like turbine. So we will see how it functions as turbine. Electron transport chain also has rotating turbine. So it is very interesting to note this. Our body has turbine, tiny, many turbines, billions of turbines are there in our body, and that actually convert this NADH into this energy. Electron. What is electron transport chain? Electron transport chain, electron transport. So it is a center where chemical energy is converted into electrical to again to ATP. So this is how. So you can see, you can compare this catabolic reaction to waterfall, downfall reaction. So this is a downhill reaction, conversion of this glucose to carbon dioxide is downhill. And I have also intentionally I have kept this reaction like this, anabolic reaction upward, because I will use term anabolic. Anabolic means uphill reaction. Okay, I will use this terminology. So are you comfortable with this terminology?
Yes.
I will use this, and this catabolic reaction I will use downhill reaction. Why? Because catabolic, in order to compare this our metabolic process to natural processes, these processes. So uphill, placing water from here to up will require energy, and this will release energy. We can transfer this energy. So that is the role of, that is why this catabolic reaction will generate energy, especially oxidation reaction will generate energy. and energy will be trapped in the form of ATP. So this is whole, you can see Krebs cycle. Now let's see. So pyruvate carboxylase reaction, just to repeat that, pyruvate carboxylase, just remember this pyruvate carboxylase is a biotin containing example. This is B, biotin. The structure of biotin is also like B. You can see this. This is the structure of biotin. So this is like bird with one beak. Can you see? So this bird will catch this insect and feed pyruvate, and it will convert into oxaloacetate. So you can remember that way. This is just to induce your imagination. So this pyruvate carboxylase, carboxylate pyruvate and convert into oxaloacetate. So this is a ligase. Ligase always require ATP. This is ATP. You can see ATP animating this ATP like this. So this is ATP. You can see this is pentose phosphate and 3-phosphate is there. And this is adenine. This adenine. So remember this. Now let's talk. So it happens in the mitochondria. 3 NADH and 1 FADH2 is released plus 1 ATP. So this is carbon. This is the whole reaction. You can see 8-step process. You can see I've already explained many things. Just 8-step process. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 8-step process is this. So this cycle has 8 steps. Now this you can see there are 4 dehydrogenase. So you can first reaction is citrate synthase. Okay. So citrate will be formed. This is citrate. So citrate is formed. After this is an anabolic reaction. All reaction will be catabolic. Now citrate will form. Citrate will convert into isocitrate. This is actually a hydrolyase. This is a different mechanism. I don't want to go into mechanism. So citrate will convert it into isocitrate. So isocitrate. Now isocitrate will be catabolized. So there are this 3rd and 4th reaction where you can see release of carbon dioxide, and both are dehydrogenase. 3rd is also dehydrogenase. This is called ICD, isocitrate dehydrogenase. You can see there is release of carbon dioxide plus NADH, and 4th is also alpha keto glutarate dehydrogenase. I told you this alpha keto glutarate dehydrogenase structure is very similar to pyruvate dehydrogenase PDH. So the structure of alpha keto glutarate dehydrogenase PDH is very different, very similar, and that is why this both reaction properties of both reaction is oxidative decarboxylation. Both have 5 components: B1, B2, B3, B4, B5. B4 means I told you to remember B4 as lipoate. So these are the component of this alpha keto glutarate dehydrogenase also. And here see isocitrate dehydrogenase is also doing oxidative decarboxylation, but it does not have similar structure with like this. The mechanism is different. So remember there are 2 oxidative decarboxylation steps. One is isocitrate dehydrogenase, other is alpha keto glutarate dehydrogenase step, ICD at the sequential step, 3rd and 4th step. Both are oxidative. Now other step you can see. There is succinate dehydrogenase. Succinate dehydrogenase release FADH2. Succinate release FADH2. Now this MD, malate dehydrogenase, will release NAD. So this is NADH. You can see here also NADH. Here also NADH. You can see NADH, NADH, and NADH. 3 NADH, 1 FADH2. So 4, if you remember here in glycolysis, if you remember 4 kinase step, you will remember glycolysis. If you in Krebs cycle, if you remember 4 dehydrogenase step, you will remember all important point of Krebs cycle. So did you understand this dehydrogenase step?
Yes.
4 dehydrogenase: MD, SD, ICD, KGD. KGD, ICD, isocitrate dehydrogenase, keto glutarate dehydrogenase, SD, and MD. So malate. 4 steps are there. Four dehydrogenases are there. Now one more important step is there. You can see this step. There is production of GTP. This is called substrate level phosphorylation. I have already substrate level phosphorylation. So substrate level phosphorylation we see in glycolysis as well as in Krebs cycle. So substrate level phosphorylation. Here is production of GTP in place of ATP. Now this enzyme is called succinyl coenzyme synthetase. Other name of this enzyme is also called succinyl coenzyme A thiokinase. In place of this synthetase, you can write is thiokinase. In the place of kinase, you add thio, because you can see the coenzyme is sulfate bond. So sulfur, thio means sulfur. It breaks this bond and produces ATP. All kinases accompanied with production of ATP, here GTP. So here one kinase, that is thiokinase step, one thiokinase step, and 4 dehydrogenase. So this thiokinase, this is production of ATP, and this is production of NADH and FADH. So if you remember 5 steps, you will remember these are the most important steps of Krebs cycle. Did you understand this? Did you understand this? Individual step you go through yourself.
Yes, sir.
Okay? I want you to go yourself because I have already explained many things. So you can do yourself individual step. Okay. So you can see I have compared this enzyme structure so as to show this alpha keto glutarate dehydrogenase is the biggest enzyme you can see, and it is similar to pyruvate dehydrogenase, PDH. And deficiency of any enzyme of this Krebs cycle will produce, which will cause lactic acidosis. Do you agree with me?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
We have already talked why. So remember that also. So these are the structure. If you want to go into detail, you can see the structure of, otherwise not necessary. Just remember this only. So these are important. I have already talked about important enzymes. These 4 dehydrogenases, and this 2R decarboxylation happens at second and third position, and there is synthesis of ATP, and these are irreversible steps. So remember irreversible is rate limiting step. So this is step 1, and this is 3 and 4. So one step, first step, second and third step, first step, third step, and fourth step. These 3 steps are rate limiting steps in Krebs cycle. This step, anabolism, I told you, citrate synthase, anabolic step, and then the deoxidative decarboxylation, 2 oxidative decarboxylation step, third and fourth, are rate limiting step.